Hey guys, welcome back to Muscle University Kitchen. I'm Jackson Dutel, and tonight we're going to be making a little dinner for ourselves. So first up on the ingredient list, we have some salmon, a lime, some Kroger brand olive oil, some Lacinato kale. This is very important. You have to get this specific type of kale. They should have it at your grocery store. Parmesan cheese, Tony's Satcheries, Old Bay seasoning, craisins, pumpkin seeds, and pine nuts. Almost forgot these bad boys. Okay guys, let's get cooking. Step number one, we're gonna wanna preheat our oven to 375 degrees for the salmon. So for prepping the salmon, guys, you're gonna wanna get a nice strip of aluminum foil to lay out on your pan. And then you're gonna get your salmon out of its packaging. Like so. Okay guys, you're gonna wanna get 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, maybe a hint less than 1/3, and you're just gonna drizzle that all over your salmon. Now you really wanna get this rubbed around, make sure it's evenly spread and not too much coated on the fish. You know, some's falling off just on the foil, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Now you're gonna put on some Old Bay seasoning. This is just what I like to use. You know, there's a lot that you can put on here. I also might put a little Tony's Satcheries on this, but I get a good amount of seasoning on my fish, and then I just rub that around. Make sure it's evenly spread, make sure it's nice and everything's seasoned up, and now we can grab our Tony's. Tony's is pretty salty, but you can still get a little bit of it on there. It's for an extra little kick, I like to say. Our salmon's prepped now. We just need it to go in the oven once it's preheated. While we're waiting for the salmon to go in, we can start working on our kale salad. So we're gonna rinse the kale now to make sure it doesn't have any dirt on it. You know, it's nice to just get a little under the sink. Yeah, just like this. That should be good. Make sure it's all drained. And then get a couple paper towels, lay them out on your counter, and just, you know, dry that kale off, because you don't want all this water in your salad. Doesn't need to be too much, but make sure, you know, make sure your kale's dry. So to prepare this kale, you're just gonna wanna come in right here. Get a better look at this. You're gonna wanna come in right here and have your knife go right along this edge piece. You don't want any of this stem in, you just want the leaf almost. You get a nice, you know, you can even come in, rip it off, and then we're just gonna do the same thing to the other side. We're gonna come in, have our knife just follow this. It comes off pretty easily, but yeah, any stem in this is really gonna make your salad how you don't want it. Now we're just gonna cut every single piece up just like that. Okay guys, we're gonna cut our kale up into pretty small slices, I'll say. You know, you wanna be very careful using a big knife like this, but I've learned from the best, so. And there's really no wrong way to do this. You know, if you want bigger pieces of kale in your salad, maybe just do a little less chopping, but I like my kale pretty sliced up for this. And I think the oven is just about preheated, so right after we have the kales cut up, we can throw that puppy in the oven. All right, that should be good. Okay, let's add this kale to a bowl. That salmon in the oven. Boom, there we go. Salmon goes right in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. We'll set a timer and check on it at 15. Now, we're just gonna put the finishing touches on this salad. So to start out, you wanna do another 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, maybe a little less again, and then cut up a lime. So I like using, you know, it really depends between half a lime and a whole lime. You're just gonna squeeze that into your olive oil for our salad dressing. Give that dressing a good mix, nice mix, and then do a quick taste. Okay, I think half a lime is gonna be good for tonight. Now you pour the dressing into the salad. You know, you might have to get up in there, give it a good mixing, make sure all the kale is nice and coated before we put our other ingredients into the salad. The last 4 ingredients to this kale salad are pretty easy. We have our Parmesan cheese, which you just open up and get in there a little bit. And then probably 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. So you can just about 1/4, and then you're just gonna want to sprinkle that on top of your salad. And this recipe is really easy because it's just a third of a cup of everything. 1/3 of a cup of olive oil, of cheese. We're gonna do 1/3 of a cup of pine nuts. Maybe a little less than 1/3. Sprinkle those on there. Do 1/3 of a cup of dried cranberries or craisins. You can see this is my favorite brand, Ocean Spray. Empty that into there. All right, 1/3 of a cup, sprinkle that on there. And then our last ingredient for this salad is pumpkin seeds. And once again, we're gonna do a little bit of less than 1/3 of a cup of these. That should be good. Sprinkle those bad boys on there. And then you're gonna wanna give that salad a good mix. Come in with your forks. Nice turnover. You can see all the ingredients. It's looking good. It's looking good. My mom would be proud. And there we go. Finished salad. I really like making this salad. It makes a lot, and I like eating this over a couple of days. It's very quick to make. You know, you don't have to cook anything, and it's pretty good. Okay guys, it's been about 17 minutes. Let's give this salad a little test. A little firm, a little firm. We'll probably give it about 3 more minutes.
3 minutes later.
It's time to get this puppy out of the oven. Don't forget your safety gear, because this is gonna be a hot pan. Now that the salmon has rested up, we can plate our meals. So I like to get about 1/3 of this kale salad on my plate. And this is definitely enough food for 2 people. All right. My roommate's also gonna have some salad, so I'm making him a plate. There we go. 1/3 for each of us, and then we can come over here and grab our salmon. You can either scrape the skin off or leave the skin on. I don't really like the skin, but my roommate does, so. Scrape this other piece of salmon off. Roommate. Boom. There you go. Before we taste test this salmon, there's one more thing we gotta take care of. All right, don't forget to clean your workspace, guys. Or your roommates will get mad. Now we can take these puppies off. Dinner time! All right, guys, here's the official taste test. Josh, tell me what you think.
Let's see. That's really good.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. It's about 920 calories for our portions and about 73 grams of protein. I think this is a really easy meal that anyone can make, you know, after work or after a workout. Thanks for watching.